Yeah, just hit me. Just fix the bump and hit me.
And they said it wouldn't last. Who knew a neighborhood party in the Bronx would change music forever? That's the moment hip-hop was born. And it would take more than the music world by storm. Hip-hop rules everything around us, our music, our clothes, even our speech. And it's still evolving.
All my life.
So what can we expect in the next 50 years? Only time will tell.
Never thought I'd make it out.
Good morning and welcome to NBC 6 Voices. I'm Jawann Stader for this special edition of 50 Years of Hip Hop on Voices. I am in Circle House Studios, which played a major part in hip hop history. For most of the hip hop era, Circle House Studios in Miami has been the place recording artists have turned to make music. Created by Ian and Roger Lewis from the band Inner Circle, the inspiration for the name of the studio. Luther Campbell, Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke, or simply Luke. What you call him depends on which decade you encountered him. Whatever you call him, you can say that he was key to putting South Florida on hip-hop's map. It's great to have you both together. So how is it that you know each other?
Well, they had a studio, which it was a small studio in Hollywood, right, in the warehouse. Yep. And I linked up with the 2 Live crew, and we ended up wanting to do a record. So Michael Sterling put us with them, and put us with their studio, and lo and behold, we became friends ever since.
What do you guys think about that Inner Circle and the role that you have played to 50 years of hip hop?
Well, you have to remember, when we first met up with Luke, Luke was kind of, one would say, becoming like Luke in the streets. The kids love him. It was happening. So we just kind of floated on that and was really happy to be a part of that. Because it was the first early records, and the 808 and Hobbs and Pac Jam.
Yeah. These guys were the originators of bass music, because you could only get the sound in their studio. Because reggae band, and
the low.
Exactly. So you wouldn't, it was like God sent that it had to be. It was all put in place, because if we'd have went anywhere else, we wouldn't have got that sound. And so because they're a world famous reggae group, Inner Circle, it was
the vibe.
Yeah, the vibe.
Hey, it worked. Let me tell you, man. Them days it was electric. I remember, we just doing Luke, we know of it before, with his rap, but we're going to Luke now. And remember, that was the University of Miami Hurricanes coming up then, getting hot. So with Luke, you had Michael Irvin, all the young cats was inside there, coming in and out, Jerome Brown. What's that? I can't remember all of them. Luke would probably can't tell you all of them.
So this is nothing but love when you guys get together, you
Yep.
see each other, and you go back. I mean, we all got a little bit more grays now than back in the 80s, but this is love when you guys come together.
Yeah, well, you have to understand something, A lot of people don't understand the real Miami, how the cultures intertwine to create that vibe. Because it's the same vibe, It's the same vibe. You got the Bahamas right there, you got Jamaica right there, you got Haiti right there. It's a vibe, it's a melting pot. So when it come in the street, it's just like, everybody got that vibe, and then the music was quick. Shake, you know what I mean? It was like hype. You know what I mean?
And the most important thing, WEDR, radio.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that? The most important thing, radio, WEDR.
Well, hey, them days, all the DJs with the people and the vibe and the streets and the kids, it was more of a vibe.
Luke, did you know you were doing something special that had not really been done at the time?
Not really. I mean, I was just, I was a little local DJ, just like they say, interning at WEDR, had the little house on 36, and I had my little DJ group, bringing down rap groups from New York and from California, and I just fell into it. If it weren't for these guys here, I wouldn't be here, because I learned a lot from them, because they were already in the music business. And so between them and, just like say, Betty Wright, King Spody, because you would have to go sit over there at King Spody house. He lived around the corner
from EDR,
from EDR and down the street from where I live at. And so you had to go sit there and learn about publishing, learn about writers. These guys here, they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you all the part that they don't tell you, in the magazines. And so you have to learn that first, because you can do a record all day. But you sit down with these guys are like the almanac, and just like I say, Spody and Betty Wright would sit there and break you down on publishing and royalties and the splits and all that.
You have to remember, I always say that about Lou. He's like the Berry Gordy of the South.
That's true.
Because he was making the record, promoting the record, getting the record played all over, and creating a style of called bass. It coined a genre, bass music.
Yep.
And it's real. It was a quick tempo, till it slowed down and trick, and then when New York finally started to respect it, because that bass, when they put on a bass record from Miami, even though it was shake, when that they had to respect that, because that bass, they said, hey, what's that, man? They never heard that before, and Lucas kind of the spirit guy that did with the Two Life Crew and La One Love. He was making records. Every week is a record come out, and it worked.
Sing it.
And Luke, let's kind of fast forward a bit. So you're making records down in the South. A lot of people don't even know what's happening down South. I lived in Indiana. Okay, I didn't know until we had a brother from Miami come up to Indiana to visit. And then he's playing his bass music. And we're like, what the heck is that? we had never heard that before. We had only heard New York. But there was something magical that was happening at that time. A lot of people didn't even know until they try to stop us from freedom of speech.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, the just like I said, the music traveled. It was because I was, like I said, I was a DJ and I was a part of a record pool, Jerry Jarvis record pool.
Jerry Jarvis,
you remember Jerry Jarvis?
Yes, sir. The Monster DJ.
Monster DJ, exactly. So it was full circle. So you're part of Jerry Jarvis record pool. So you're learning how important record pools were, and then he's telling you about record pools around the country. Then I'm interning at the radio station. We're doing records at their studio in Hollywood. They're already independent entrepreneur guys, and you living around the corner from Betty Wright and King Spody. So you learn all these different things, and then at the end of the day, you're saying to yourself, okay, how do I get my record in all these other places? And so lo and behold, because this is a melting pot, and because this is a place, Miami is a place where a lot of tourists come, whether it's spring break or whatever, it's a break, what they call in the music business, a breakout artist, or a breakout market. Yeah. So you can get a record played here, and it'll break out everywhere. If it's played at Club Live or played anywhere around here, one of the bars of the club, because so many tourists are coming here, they'll take it back to other places like Indiana, Chicago, New York, Detroit, and that's how the music traveled from here.
What Luke was doing was street records. Street in the street, from Overtown to Bulls to Fort Lauderdale. You know what I mean? Right. You have another guy called Joe Fraser again, WRBD. They was up in Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. So once EDR go boom, then Fort Lauderdale go boom, then West Palm Beach. It's just like...
And it was all to the streets.
Yeah.
So from the streets, it rose.
Yeah, there was no hip-hop in the South. We started it. No matter what anybody say, whether it's
not a lie.
Whether it was Atlanta, I didn't even know. It started right here.
It's not a lie.
It's in this circle right here. And it's crazy because, they're international reggae group, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they became the most world-renowned studio owners, you know, because every hip-hop artist then came in this studio right here. So it's like Inner Circle, but it's Circle
Cash
House.
Money followed.
Yeah,
Cash Money came. Cash Money followed that independent spirit to own your master. Because remember, now it's a hard drive. Back in them days, they got to have 4 or 5, just like the DJs there. Record box and find, and you got to search them now. Everybody on the computer, you know your record. Them days you got to carry record boxes. And then the mobile DJ thing, that was another level.
That's what I was.
That's 20, 30 boxes, Mr. Hank.
Mr. Hank. Whole industry,
From that vibe that Luke put on, you know. 2 Live Crew, Luke, and the song there, Born on the 4th July song, and the whole of that, you know. Came Trick Daddy, Pitbull, Trina. All that Miami is famous for now, from the hip hop side, even to the dance side. It's that powerful art,
it's the beat, man. It's that
explosion
beat.
and the vibe from the street, like making a cake from scratch.
If you understand, okay, a SP1200 is 8 and 12-bit sampling. So they take it from the record, the cheesy, shot, then it went to the 808, shot, you know what I mean? That was all drums. There's not like, you know, instrument playing. The drum machine had to be everything in one.
Yeah, and then you had the 707. So 707 gave you the congas and the tom-toms. But it was, again, just like they said originally, everything we did was from Miami, not South, but Miami, because of the melting pot and the influence of Jamaican, Bahamian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, and all that. So our music, the tempo is already up. But then now what I did was,
BPM up there.
because of my Jamaican side of me and being in the studio with that drop, that you know, you had to have that. So you couldn't, you know, if you didn't have that, that's what made the sound original when they call it
it's like
Miami
eating,
bass.
It's like eating some kind of food that you never ate before. It's like, God. That's how the kids felt about it.
So what do you think about the 50-year anniversary of hip hop? What do you think about the celebration?
You know, I think it's a great thing. You know, to celebrate hip hop. You know, 50 years later. I mean, some people have questions about the dates and that, but we celebrated. This is the 50th anniversary, no matter what. And for us as Miamians, you know, folks who created hip hop in the South, you know, a large part of it, they kind of overlook us. We've been overlooked for years for our contribution to hip hop, but lately some people have came around because obviously we're not New York or California, anything like that, but we hold our own and we know where we stand at in that whole conversation, that whole argument.
Luke, I gotta ask you this. Do you believe that you were overlooked for years as being a pioneer of hip hop in the South?
No doubt about it. I mean, because they always, the first thing they don't make reference as they don't make reference as if, oh, this is the guy who started hip hop in the South. First independent black-owned hip hop company from the South, whether it's worldwide to do R&B records, platinum, all these different types of artists. They don't recognize. They automatically say, oh, 2 Live Crew. They don't say executive. They don't say entrepreneur. They don't say creative hip hop in the South. Oh, 2 Live Crew, where the girls at? Booty music. They got all kind of different terms before they give you that credit. And so, again, we being from here, we don't get as large a credit. None of us that we should, for the role that we played. I mean, probably 70% of the hip hop artists came through this studio right here.
That's true.
Nobody all around the world. All of it was done here. You don't get that credit because you're here.
Well, to add on what Luke's saying, this is how I feel about it. Maybe it's my opinion, but the credibility had to come because in the music business, what counts? HITS. You can't deny that. Mm-hmm. When a record is a hit, whether man say, it's 2 runs, it's a hit. You understand me now? After that, comes what? The independent spirit to develop. That's where the problem comes from. Where is that mind going? Is it going left? Is it going right? If it going, you understand? Is it too radical? What I think Luke did, and I guess his personality, was no bars. He didn't care. He was just
Exactly.
doing it. Yeah. You don't like it, eh? That's exactly. He's gonna do what he want to do. That's why I think when he did Born in the USA, why Bruce Springsteen saw it and say, hey, this is a rebel right here. This is a rebel of, you know, in my spirit, you know, to say, hey, this guy don't really care. He's making music. And for a whole system to come down on somebody for free speech, no, that's a problem. Because, you know, that's what America is. It's supposed to be free speech, and you understand?
Well, sometimes free speech is who the messenger of the speech.
Hey, you're right about that.
I mean, you have people selling your records getting arrested because they're selling your records.
Stupid, man.
Yeah.
Stupid.
In different
it's not
states.
drugs. It's not drugs are what we classify as drugs. But as I say, what it was a spirit. It's a movement. It didn't care. You understand me? And the kids, they like that, you know. And I want to tell you, Miami never had much, the crime wasn't that bad. But then, you know, you have like fights and this, but you didn't have that heavy gang. It was the music, they followed the music. If you look playing up on North Miami, Ram. If it's playing down here, you understand, the music. That, you know, everybody was in the spirit of the music more. The kids was more into the music.
So where do we go from here? 50 years of hip hop. Where do we see ourselves in the next 50 years?
We're all happy and fortunate to come through with Luke, and knowing Luke can come up with the whole thing and the whole history of Miami and hip hop in the South. You know, but, you know, saying Inner Circle, apart from being the provider with the studio, and especially the studio, to linking us with hip hop, that is where our power really comes from within the studio thing. Because you have to realize, you know, as you said, Cash Money them came through here, nearly everybody, Pharrell them come through here.
Yeah, but Cash Money's influence to be independent came from this man.
From the spirit.
Because seeing that in the spirit in the soul, the man said,
we were just fortunate, man.
Yeah.
The blessing of God to, you know, be vibe with Luke at that time. And a little studio up in Hollywood and come together, because that was a really beginning Luke, big hits and records, and Happy to Know Hobbs and Marquise and Kid Ice, and, you know, as I say, it was even a bigger family.
Yeah,
A bigger family.
And we all grew from there.
Yeah.
We all grew internationally. We all grew locally. We grew an entire economy.
No way.
We grew a whole culture.
You shared a lot of memories already, but can you share with us some memories that stand out?
Outside, I mean, I have a couple. Outside of, you know, just being able to do the Grammys the other day on your network. No, not your network. I'm just playing with you. Outside of doing the Grammys, I would say, you know, doing MTV Music Awards, you know, when we were going through all the controversy, you know, with the records and going through all these different courts, Supreme Court, going through, getting arrested for singing record that the judge deemed obscene and getting that overturned, and being able to go do that show at the MTV Music Awards with 2 Live Crew and having Bruce Springsteen okay that I could use the song to perform that song at that moment. You know, it was a moment. It was a real serious moment, I think, for hip hop that we had got over. It was a moment for Miami, that now we're on the national spotlight for doing music, and for me that was a very impactful moment. A lot of people would say winning the Supreme Court case, but I would say that moment, because it just covered all the bases.
A lot of people may not realize that Inner Circle is responsible for Bad Boys. Now, there are a lot of people that do, that are fans of yours. But that song has been played millions, if not hundreds of millions of times.
All over the world.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
All over the world.
But remember something, as you're talking about that, the original series, what's that guy named Rivera? He came down here and filmed That's what it started at. That's how they used the song. It started with following around Nick Navarro and them in Fort Lauderdale, and they started to play the song in the background. That's how that started, you know. And I'm just showing you how the power of music is. Remember, I don't really want to take it on the negative tone, but you remember the riots, the Macduff riots, and Mr. J was on the radio, and it was the bass music and a song called Firecracker that slowed that whole thing down. Something like when James Brown went and stopped the riots. Is that community connection that EDR had with the people that slowed down the streets from burning down the whole place. And they used the bass music of what Luke was making, Uncle Al and all them to keep the kids' attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the power of music is a serious. When it's community based, when it's in, that's what hip hop really is. The street poetry from the young kids telling his life story.
Yeah.
That's what hip hop really is.
So much. I remember as a 10-year-old in Jamaica and hearing James Brown for the first time. First time. Wow, it's amazing. I never heard that before. Like, I was transfixed. That guttural, that to African person, don't care where you are and whatever environment you are in, throughout the world, that's part of you.
Hip hop has impacted a lot in terms of the farm, the genre. I mean, you know, people take spin-offs of it and do different. Same thing with reggae, you know. But reggaeton come off of it. It's this, you understand? So this little Miami here has created a whirlpool of many different things that rise. You understand me? That has come out of, you know what I mean? People not really, you know, respect VIP, rest in peace, Sister Betty Wright. That's another great person.
Yeah.
Community singer, community that live with the community. That's what I think is missing now. You know, that connection. You understand me? The first time I ever see Luke like on a show was down at that place downtown when Luke was the MC. And he had the kids going crazy. You know what I mean? Because you know, hey, you come here. Why you looking like that? You know, as that drop, that whole place is just like, you know, you don't see that electricity no more. It's like people, yeah, what you got? You know what I mean? But before, they feel that current. You know what I mean? As I said, the streets was humming. You know, I kind of miss that vibe, you know?
Change is always constant.
That's right.
But it always start with the inner circle song, Bad Boys, Bad Boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
You know,
Hey, you see how that all full circle? It's all Bad Boy hip hop group, Bad Boy Jamaican group, Bad Boy University of Miami, Bad Boy Town, Bad Boy everything. I mean, that's what it's all full circle.
My brothers, thank you so much. This has been an honor for me to have you guys tell this and share so many stories. It's all about the Bad Boys. That's our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of Voices. Before we go, remember, education is the key to success. If you believe, you will succeed. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.